On this crystal collector, we're going to be digging up some of these huge garnets. They're going to be awesome and a fun time to go dig right out of the United States here in North Carolina at a place about half an hour above Asheville. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can also check out their Facebook page and their website, Sandy Bottom Trail Rides. Sandy Bottom Trail Rides is where you want to go to sign in. It's at Caney Fork Road. What you want to do is just turn on this road and follow it down for quite a while, maybe a mile or so. And when you get to the end right here, you just want to park and go into the office and get signed in. Once you get all signed in, they'll give you directions to go shortly down the street to get to the entrance of the mine here. You'll notice the little gem mine sign, and you'll proceed to go down the creek and cross over it. Now, you don't need any kind of special four-wheel drive or anything. I'm in a normal minivan. So you cross over the creek and you proceed to go up the drive, and you pull over to the right. You'll see the little sign that says parking, and this is where you'll park and get ready to go dig for some awesome garnets. This is the entrance to the mine. It's only about a half-mile walk up, not too bad. They started mining this place in the early 1800s. They used different things like the talc for pencils in the steel industry and garnets for sandpaper. As we get to the top here, you'll see a sign that has much more detailed information on all that stuff and the rules and everything like that. You look over and you'll see the man-made opening to this cave system. It doesn't go too far back, but it's really cool, and what an adventure to come here and dig these garnets. Tiffany's also used some of the garnets for gem making for jewelry back in the 1950s. So here at the mine, you have the entrance there. But at one time, many years ago, they were mining some of the material, not the garnets, but the mica, and they brought a lot of dump area right here. So you can go down through here and literally all that stuff right there is old dumps right from the cave. So we're going to walk over and check this out. And as you're walking, because this is all old tailings, you're going to be able to spot garnets just like this one here, right out of the ground. Now the garnets here are really big, have some really neat shapes, and they have a really dark red color, but a lot of times on most of these you're going to get this mica overgrowth, so they really have to be polished up somehow to really show the color and the shine that you can bring to these. So we'll keep walking. You can see all the little divot holes where people have been digging here and there. And I always suggest to come over here, even if you're ready to, get into the cave and get to work. There's an impression of where one was. You never know what you can find in these dump piles over here, and it's a lot of times it's really easy pickings. You really have to look, because everything kind of looks the same. But once you get an eye for the shape of the garnet, there's one right there. It's broken in half, but it allows you to see the true red garnet color versus the exterior layer that's covered in mica. So let's see if we can find a big one. And then sometimes you can even crack open these pieces like this. You can see the little garnets are in there. But there's really so many here. There's just several types of ways that you can find them. Sitting on the hillside, still in the tailings. I could actually see the red coming off that one. And some of these have this cool elongated shape, somewhat like this one. They have some really odd shapes here. Checking these water runoffs is a really good spot to find any kind of crystals at any location, just like these garnets. Can you see it? This one's not bad. Not bad at all. So I was about to go up to the main pit, and I looked over and saw this pretty good sized one hanging out of the ground. Thought I would, oh yeah, this is gonna be, see if we can get a better view of this. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Okay, so we see an impression of one, and then we see another one, and then another one on that side. So this one's got a little mica matrix with it. Sometimes you could really make these look cool with a little trimming. Nice. Those are icicles. It's that cold today. But I'll tell you what, when you're finding garnets like this, you don't really feel the coldness. Is that not one? Nope. But it's really easy. It's really, really easy to find these once you get the eye. You know, you're not going to just come out here immediately and start seeing these things all over the place. But then once you kind of get the eye, you'll notice them. They just have a little bit different appearance than most of the other rock. Oh, look at that. That's sweet. In the matrix, see the little garnet there? And like I say, there's another one. You can also just flip these matrix pieces over and give them a really good look. Looks like a little weird garnet there. But every now and then, you might just flip out a piece. This just happens to have a large garnet hanging out of it. Here's a sample of the mica schist that these garnets formed all in, which makes up the really the whole entire system. This one's got a really cool sheen to it, and you can pick up as much of this stuff as you want here. I believe I could stay in these dump piles all day long and have a great time. But you know what? Let's go check out the real part of this mine where all of this stuff came from. Just a slight walk behind me here. Found some nice garnets over there in maybe in half an hour digging in the tailings. A few matrix pieces here. Some singles. So, you know, they're still not cleaned up. But once these are clean, they look really nice. They have some potential. Now, for digging these out, you don't need anything but your eyes and, you know, to bend over and pick them up off the surface unless you just really want to dig through the tailings. But now, for where we're about to go, you got to have this stuff. Oh, and you got to have a headlamp too. So, you want to get a headlamp, maybe a couple of headlamps in case, you know, your one goes out. I like these rechargeable ones here. They're nice and rechargeable. And if your chisels, they need to be freshly sharpened. First time I came up, I had chisels, but they weren't sharp, and they just don't do anything good here. You know, they won't really penetrate the wall. And you know, that's probably, you could use a little bit bigger hammer, pair of gloves if you like. You want to bring your bag, some water, things like that, you know. And if you're really serious, you know, bring little bigger tools. more water, bigger bag. You'll find plenty here if you put the work in. Okay, here we are at the entrance behind me.
Bruh.
Gonna be a fun day of digging. Check it out. Cool scenery. Fun times. Okay, here we go. So before I do any mining, we'll give you a tour here. You can see the pretty wild walls that go up. Now the garnets start right in here and go all the way back. They don't want you digging in these pillars, which obviously makes a lot of sense. But you want to get cave-ins going on. You can see people have even crawled up under there and dug. And I'd say this cave, well, I don't know the really correct name, whether you call it a cave or whatever, but it goes back, I don't know, 150 foot. About here we'll have to put on the headlamp. All right, let's check it out. So you get into the first part of this. Another large pillar. And you can dig in any of this area. Not sure you're getting a really good view. But just for instance, check it out. You can see just right there some divots where people have been digging. There's a little piece of a garnet right there. Let's see, we'll show you a garnet. Let's see. You can see one there, an edge of one. There's a hole where someone pulled out one that looked like the size of a gumball or so. And you can walk up this edge here. You've got to be a little careful. If you'll notice, you'll find these little spots where people have knocked out to put your feet in to walk up. And the garnets just really go all over these walls. You can just about dig anywhere in here and find garnets. Okay, what you'll see here is a garnet strata or layer that runs through. Now there's other garnets and other layers, but you can see there's really some really big ones that just run all the way through. You can see where people have been digging out of that one, and you know, at one time it come all the way down. All right, as we walk further, you want to keep your eye on the ground, because when people are digging up on these walls, sometimes you'll pull a garnet out or pop it out and it'll fall down here, and you know, you're not going to feel like walking all the way down here to find it. Sometimes, unless it's a really good one. I've done it several times. So keep your eyes out. One of my favorite spots to dig. You can see some really large garnets have came out of this section. And this is probably where I'll keep digging today. I mean, that piece wasn't, you know, wasn't far from being the size of a baseball, possibly. I mean, you can see divot after divot after divot after divot. We're just, these walls are loaded with garnets. So we're going to be digging right there. But if you look, this vein runs all the way back. And you can follow it and follow it and follow it, follow it. until you get to the very back wall. This is a pretty tight squeeze though. Let's see if we can get here. And you get all the way up to the back wall and you can see that this vein just keeps going. Look at this. Oh, okay, here we are. We're at the very back. And look, you're just getting huge garnets still. They're everywhere. There's one right there. Right there, you can see the edge of it. Yep, there's a piece, one. There's one, there's one, there's one. All of those. Really fun place to dig, I'll tell you what. All right, here's what I was talking about. I was about to go back and look. Keep your eyes on the ground here. Some people dig here and they don't want these small ones. You know, this one's kind of been split, but it's still got a nice, nice half. So you can find all kinds of stuff. Somehow an acorn got in here. Must be some squirrels. You can see I'm at the very back, and there's the front of the cave right there. So let's go grab some tools. What I like to do is take a few tools that you're going to use, sit them all down in one spot, and then have your bag here so that when you get some garnets, you can just drop them right in your bag, you know. And if you get some good ones, bring some wrap. You never know when you might need some wrap. So, but these are pretty tough. But yeah, I'm sure if I find a really good one, we'll wrap her up. So let's do some digging. Okay, here we are. And before I just start digging away anywhere, you might want to just see where a garnet might be at, Is that not one? Yeah, there's one right there. So we'll dig this one out first. But another way is to look at the way these things are. If you see a lot of big ones here and here and here, you're going to probably find big ones there. If you don't see many divots, you might not find as much. But usually in this layer, they're everywhere. So where'd that one go? I think that's one. Oh, you know what? Look at that. Fooled me. That's just a divot. It was red. It looked like the back of one. But that was actually a divot, so that's not a garnet. So we'll find one. Just dig this layer out here. Where you have those growth layers, sometimes you can get in between them and, and pop out some sections of it. So that's what we're going to try. And, before you want to hit into any of these walls, stuff's going to fly back. So you want to either wearing glasses or safety glasses of some type so that this stuff doesn't pop back in your eye or your face. Once you get it in there, you can really hit it. Knocking it loose. Look at that. And then you just want to take that, pull it off, and you might have a garnet in there. Nothing in that one. But what's really important is what you might expose. No garnets in there. So we're just going to keep knocking off some of this layering and see if we can expose one. Okay, what we have is the edge of a pretty good sized garnet. You see it there, right in the center. All right, you can see we're getting this thing uncovered here. And it looks like there's another one on the side of it, so that's cool. So you're going to have one big one and at least one more on the side. So I'm going to have to loosen some more of this up. That was already loose from a while ago. Can't pull it out of there yet, and you wouldn't want to really force it because you might damage it. So you want to get as much of that exterior as you can and go around. You see how I've been going around it? so that you don't damage the garnets. All right, after more digging, it's becoming more and more exposed. So, not quite ready to come out. I'm going to have to dig a little bit more of this out here. We'll get this thing out. All right, we're getting this thing more and more exposed. Almost got it out here. I mean, you can really almost grab the whole thing, it seems like, but we'll have to do a little bit more digging. All right, so I believe we've got it loose here. Oh, yeah. Nice. Look at that. There it is. There it is. There it is. Man. Whew. You know, it's a lot of digging, but it's worth it. Check it out. That's a huge garnet. It's like it's a twin. It's like two garnets that grew together, molded in one. Wow. What a find. Fantastic. Fantastic. Look at that. So there it is. There's the divot that we left. Pretty good sized garnet, huh? Look at that. So they're going to be all over the place, just like all those other divots. See that? Look, there was one right there, there. So we just got to dig them out. Get her done. Always on the search. I've already found so many garnets. Man, what a fun time. But it's starting to get a little bit dark, so I think it's time to head on out. So I'm going to walk on down, get to the car, head home, clean these garnets up, maybe polish one or two, and we'll show you those here in a bit. Also have a couple of porta-johns here that you can use, just right below the mine, right off the trail here. Beautiful scenery, the North Carolina mountains in the background through the trees. You can see it really gets high right beside us here. Goes up. And that overlooks all those mine tailings. But you can walk that whole area right there. Full of them. Full of garnets. Really, that's the best way to do it. Just go out there. Look at that. That whole area. And just, you can dig and dig and dig. On the walk down, and I'm going to take these things, get them cleaned up, maybe polish a few, pull out some of those matrix pieces. Ended up getting a few nice big size pieces. So we'll get a picture of everything before I do any kind of polishing, and then maybe polish a couple just to see what they look like, you know, to give you an idea of the potential these things have and how much fun they are to dig. Okay, so here we are, and I've got some of the garnets from the dig, and what I've been doing is polishing some of the faces on this flat lap here. Now, this is just an amateur type setup, and you can see I've just got the water dripping out from the hose pipe there. And, you know, like I say, I'm by far a professional on doing any of this polishing, but you can see before you do any kind of cleaning, this has just been washed off with water. You know, the garnets look pretty cool. They've got a lot of, you know, chlorite mica stuff on the outside of them, which some of that goes as inclusions, which gets really neat when you polish them up. But here's one that I have put a little bit of polish, only, you know, a couple of different polishing pads, but you can see it's starting to shine up a little bit. You know, a little bit more polish work, and this one will shine right up. Nice colors, deep red. But now this one could still use a little bit more polish, but it's starting to really shine and show the true color of these garnets. And what's neat is that each garnet has a little bit different look. You know, some of them have a darker red, some of them are almost a black colored, and then I like the little mica things, you know, the inclusions right there. They get really neat. So there you go. Big North Carolina garnets. Now here's one that I haven't done any polishing at all yet. So I'm just going to do one polishing pad's worth of polish on the faces that I can get to, just so you can see the difference it makes. So here's the bigger and better garnets of the find from the dig. You'll notice a couple of them I've polished, but first we'll look at these matrix pieces. You can see on this matrix that I only washed it with water, so you can't even really see the color, but you can see the garnet, and you can see the potential that a piece like that might have, you know, for cleaning up, making something nice out of it. And then the piece in the back, really nice piece. I've slightly polished the faces just to bring the color out some. So when all done, it'll be a really nice piece. All these other ones, they're huge garnets, just huge, but they're gonna have to be cleaned up. You can see where the mica and the chlorite is just all in the outer face. You can see a little bit of the color through there. And what's neat about these, as you can see, like in this one, I've only slightly polished it, but it's really cool. This one had a double growing. So you can see it doesn't take much polish to really bring out the colors and the character of these garnets. This is the one I chose to really take time and focus on. Look at that awesome mica chlorite inclusion. Super nice piece. Just a little bit more polish and it'll just look really excellent. You can see the deep red colors. Just amazing what you can pull out of the ground if you just take the time to get out and dig around a little while. Go to some of these places. So yeah, if you want to dig some garnets, I highly suggest Little Pine Garnet Mine, North Carolina. This is a really neat little matrix piece. Look at that. The garnet's actually pretty good size, but you can see the top doesn't have much mica. So this one's going to look really good when we get that polished back. Wow. Look at that color. This is a really nice one. Only been cleaned with water, but you can see the nice little bed of matrix, the mica chlorite schist that it's sitting in. Huge garnet. The back of it was connected to the wall, kind of torn off. Look at that. It's going to have some great color though. Get that thing polished up. Wow. Wow. Sometimes you get these elongated pieces like this. They've just got a really funny long shape. Look at that. Really cool stuff. I can imagine this one polished is going to look great. You can see how dark that thing is. Wow. Look at the color. Amazing. Just simply amazing. So there you have it. Garnets, North Carolina. Little Pine Garnet Mine. It's the place to be if you want to find large garnets. Fairly easy. Let's get her done.